since returning to WWE, Vince McMahon has made a lot of changes to programming, despite infamously stating that he wouldn't be in the weeds after announcing the Endeavor deal. Last week's Smackdown saw McMahon make what's been described as drastic changes to the show, and these have caused some serious friction backstage between McMahon and many important names. BWE reports that a meeting has been called for today, with Triple H reportedly unhappy with how SmackDown went, and he wants to take a look at things. The report adds that some superstars were also unhappy with Vince's interference on the show, and that in addition to Triple H, Nick Khan didn't appreciate the latest episode of the Blue Brand. It's also been reported that Triple H and McMahon were overheard having a verbal altercation following what transpired at SmackDown, and they were so loud that production staff could hear. It was after this altercation, which ended when Triple H stormed out, that the meeting for today was called, which will include McMahon, Triple H, Kevin Dunn, Bruce Pritchard, and creative staff. Vince McMahon may not technically be in charge of creative, but he has the power to change what he wants without anyone's approval, and has made full use of that power behind the scenes. We'll have to wait and see as to whether this meeting changes anything, but as many predicted back in January, Vince McMahon's return has caused a heap of trouble backstage in WWE. CM Punk news now, as the best in the world is no stranger to controversy, as we saw at All Out, and the now former AEW World Champion is filing some serious litigation. For years, Billi Bhatti was considered a prominent name in wrestling journalism until a series of offensive comments soured his career, and he's now drawn the ire of the AEW star. During the latest episode of The Dirty Sheets, Bhatti claimed that Punk has threatened to sue him, alleging that Bhatti has defamed him in a tweet, satirical meme, and t-shirt. He said, "I recently received a letter letting me know that CM Punk, Phil Brooks, intended to sue me. So he's suing me on the grounds of mainly a tweet and responses to said tweet and a satirical meme I posted, but it insinuates that I created the meme and selling t-shirts that are being sold on the internet. There are actually t-shirts being sold for this. I did not create the meme. I did not sell the t-shirt." The crux of the vile joke in this tweet, meme, and t-shirt is that Punk preys on children, and on his show, Bhatti reiterated the point that he neither made the meme nor is he selling the shirt for profit. Bhatti also questioned how Punk lost anything from what has been posted about him, and when reading from the letter, Punk's legal team didn't hold back when addressing Bhatti's past. The letter states that Bhatti has a history of bigotry and homophobic statements, as well as compelling evidence that he has a history of sharing false, libelous, and hateful statements. While Bhatti did admit he made the tweet about Punk, Bhatti defended himself, saying it wasn't defamatory, as to defame someone means you wish to cause harm with false claims, and Bhatti's opinion is that this claim isn't false at all. In defamation law, honest opinion can be used as a defense, but the person defending themselves must prove that a reasonable member of society could have this opinion. That defense will therefore be difficult for Bhatti to use if this case goes to trial, given that there is no hard evidence that Punk is what Bhatti is claiming he is, no matter if he believes it. On his show, Bhatti also claimed that Punk's legal team demanded an apology from Bhatti and an admission that he tried to defame Punk, but given that Bhatti believes he did nothing wrong, an apology isn't expected to happen. In his comments about the desired apology, Bhatti bizarrely turned his attention to the matter of procreation, saying that if someone is able to have children, then they should, no matter what. This belief has nothing to do with the vile comment Bhatti has shared about Punk, other than they both involve children, and it's unclear why Bhatti went off on this tangent about procreation. Right now, Punk's legal team has not filed any litigation against Bhatti, and hope he will apologize for these disgusting comments, but with the controversial wrestling reporter not backing down, we'll keep following this case for further updates. It's safe to say that All Out 2022 will go down in AEW history for all the wrong reasons, as the last thing people think of when they think of that event is the in-ring action. Following CM Punk's comments on the backstage fight, the majority of the roster was said to be very much against the former world champions, but not everyone was against Punk. It's no secret that FTR are supporters of Punk, and Dave Meltzer reports that the team even tried to mend some fences within AEW. He said, "Just to clear something up regarding the situation in AEW and people kept apart, as Forbidden Door is the first time the Elite and CM Punk will be on the same show, is that FTR is not part of this equation. FTR actually went out of their way of late to clear the air and have no working issues with each other. most involved have confirmed that all is good between them, and the hope was that other discussions would happen soon. While AEW would be better off if everyone was able to let things go, that's easier said than done. And while Punk and the Elite won't be trading Christmas cards anytime soon, FTR have been working to try and make things at least somewhat easier behind the scenes. Right now, Carmelo Hayes is riding high in NXT as the Gold brand's top champion, but his time in WWE's developmental show can't last forever. There will come a day when Hayes is on the main roster, something many fans are already eager to see, and it may be coming sooner than you'd think. BWE reports that WWE is discussing Hayes making his main roster debut as suddenly as tonight's episode of Raw, and if plans go ahead, he'll be going up against a big main event talent. This match won't be the start to his fully fledged run on the main roster for Hayes, but will give Raw's audience a chance to see him in action, and it'll be interesting to see who he'll face if these plans go through. From one NXT star to another, as Gigi Dolin has made quite a name for herself in the Gold brand, even becoming a record-tying two-time NXT Women's Tag Team Champion, but she had a career long before WWE. Dolin, aka Priscilla Kelly, used to compete for Shine and Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, and even had a handful of matches in AEW, and she's now made her presence felt at Impact Wrestling. During the latest tapings for Impact, Dolin was spotted backstage, and a selfie was shared by Taylor Wilde, and it's believed Dolin was there to support her boyfriend, Zachary Wentz. Wentz, aka Nash Carter, made his return to Impact at the taping and set his sights on X Division champion Chris Sabin, and perhaps we'll be seeing more of the NXT star at Impact's tapings. As a former Universal Champion, Intercontinental Champion, Tag Champion, and Money in the Bank winner, Braun Strowman is no stranger to being part of big plans in WWE. Some of those plans, like others, will have been leaked before they played out on WWE programming, and that's a huge issue as far as Strowman is concerned. During a recent live stream, Strowman was asked for some backstage information and made it clear that he is not going to be doing anything like that. Strowman even went as far as to say that wrestlers that leak information to the dirt sheets are assholes, so if you want a backstage scoop, don't bother bothering the monster among men. More from NXT as Roxanne Perez has quickly become a top name in the women's division, but as of late, the former women's champion has had a serious issue with Blair Davenport. Davenport was recently revealed as the mystery attacker who had been assaulting members of the NXT women's division, and just because her identity is known doesn't mean she'll be stopping. During the filming of WWE's Up NXT show on Snapchat, where superstars interact with fans, Perez received a concerning question from Blair herself, asking how it feels to not feel safe anywhere she goes. Roxanne's response quickly turned into a rant about Blair, leading to a sudden interruption as Davenport stormed into the scene and launched a physical assault on Perez. NXT issued an apology for the unexpected turn of events, which were of course in kayfabe, and given this attack, expect things to only get uglier from here between these two superstars. When you're in the ring, there's always the chance things can go very wrong, and the risk of that happening only increases when you add weapons into the mix. Over the weekend, John Skyler and Colby Corino decided to include a table in their AML Prestige Championship match, and the action spilled out of the ring. With a table set up at ringside, the pair made their ways up to a balcony area in the crowd, and Corino was sent hurtling down to the table below. Typically, a breaking table helps cushion some of the damage from a fall, but this wasn't the case this time, as the table didn't break in a very nasty spot that drew screams from the crowd. Thankfully, Colby survived this stunt, but it could have gone a lot worse, and it just goes to show how unpredictable wrestling can be, especially when you include weapons. Right now, Sami Zayn is considered one of the most entertaining names on WWE's main roster, but it's not just his wrestling ability that has won over fans. Zayn is one of WWE's most charismatic stars working today, and recently had the chance to show off his dance moves at a WWE live event. At the event in Monroe, Louisiana, Zayn could be seen busting out his dance moves in a viral video clip, and even chest bumped the also charismatic Montez Ford to end the dance routine. Zayn may have had fun at this event, but he and Kevin Owens will be all business when they defend their tag titles against Pretty Deadly this Friday, and look to make sure the challenger's homecoming to the UK is one they'd rather forget. Next week, two superstars will leave London with the men's and women's Money in the Bank briefcases, but there's more than one way to guarantee yourself a title opportunity. Next January, WWE will host its 37th annual Royal Rumble event, and while the show is over half a year away, plans for the popular show are already coming together. It was recently rumored that Gunther would be winning next year's men's match after a record-shattering performance this year, which ended with Gunther being the final superstar eliminated by Cody Rhodes. When Ringside News asked around, though, they were told that the men's and women's Royal Rumble winners have already been decided and warned that reports about who will be winning either match will be coming from bad sources. It was also stated that the only people who know for a fact are Vince and Triple H and Nick Khan and Bruce Pritchard and Kevin Dunn, and that even WWE's creative team are being kept in the dark to avoid reports and plans from leaking. And we're ending with Forbidden Door as Jungle Boy unsuccessfully challenged IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Sonata in a tough loss for Jack Perry. While Perry didn't leave with the gold, he did make headlines in another way, as post-match he clotheslined Hook, turning heel in the process. After mocking the fans, Jungle Boy picked up Hook's FTW title and looked at it for a while before tossing it to his former partner, seemingly indicating that championship gold is still on his mind. As we reported yesterday, there have been talks for some time within AEW about turning Jungle Boy heel, and now Tony Khan has pulled the trigger on this turn. Now Jack Perry joins Sammy Guevara and MJF as heel members of AEW's Four Pillars, and it'll be interesting to see what's next in this new chapter of his AEW career.